moving on, we have our keynote presentation, which I'm sure many of our participants are waiting for already. And it is by Dr. Haitham Al-Hajri, cybersecurity researcher and expert from Global Security Shield. Talking about Dr. Haitham Hilal Al-Hajri, he holds a PhD in cybersecurity management, along with quite a few other certifications. At industry capacity, Haitham has participated in organizing specialized training programs and cyber drills that aim to simulate trends of advanced digital threats, which may target vital and critical sectors. Dr. Haitham's keynote speech is themed as cybersecurity in Agile Cloud Era. The stage is all yours, Dr. Haitham. I would request you to unmute.
Hello. Yes. Hi. Thank you very much for having me, and it's a pleasure to come and speak among professional people. I have seen quite interesting names, and I have known a couple of them as well and worked alongside with them. And it's always a pleasure to share the insight of the latest trends, and cloud is no stranger to the industry, especially in cybersecurity. So I'll just share my presentation quickly. And I promise to not try to bore you with presentation, but with more information. So speaking with cloud and speaking about cloud, it was just a buzzword that happening a couple of years back, a decade back. Everything is in the cloud. People is talking, hey, you should use the cloud, you should back up your data into the cloud, you should use cloud services, and so on. So the cloud really became an integral part of a modern life society. Even with smart cities going around, cloud have proven to be the thing that is scalable, available, and fast deployment. Alongside with it, they're trying to promote security as well. However, a different kind of security challenges may arise. I mean, people when talking about cloud says it's a managed server, it will be patched, updated regularly, and be top of the range. People will be really looking after it. So there are a couple of assurances that has been given, but also where this cloud is hosted, which regulation does it belong to? Is that country allow us to get this information whenever we want to, sharing that kind of information with it? It's really a challenge when it comes to talking about the cloud, because the cloud is basically another person's computer or a company's computer hosted somewhere around the world with a promise that your data will be really safe on it. However, there are other measures that can be taken by the client itself to ensure that his information is safe. For example, encryption. He can use the storage, encrypt his data with on his private key, and then assures that his data is secure. But it comes to different kind of services that we are looking into getting from the cloud. Today, when we talk about the cloud and we talk about agile and we talk about security and we talk about the pandemic, it's clearly have shown that a lot of organization nowadays has shifted working remotely and working from home. And if they don't have the correct infrastructure and strong infrastructure to support 80% of their staff working from home, then they have a problem. And we have seen it. Some countries and some companies don't have the scalability to support or extend support to their staff to work from home. So they had suffered. However, with cloud computing as an application service, as a administrative service, and other services, it has clearly shown that it is here to solve a problem. For medium-sized companies, instead of investing in buying a huge infrastructure, buying new laptops, buying new servers, managing those servers with expertise, hiring cybersecurity experts, which is not cheap and not easy to find, to manage and maintain your server just for you, it's a bit costly. However, if you are looking into saving costs and getting top range and top tier services, there where cloud service companies are shining. So less down server time, more security out there, people are looking after it, makes life easier, makes the company do what they do best, is creating a product or marketing a product or providing a service through different means. So just to highlight, there is different meaning of cloud. There are Gartner, there are Foster, and there's the Wikipedia. Basically, all of them revolve around that. It's a computer hosted somewhere with internet speed, and you can access it. Now you can access it as a service provider, you can provide it as application level provider, you can as a storage service provider. So why businesses need to go to the cloud? Well, technically, scalability comes number one, because I need to be flexible, scalable, fast enough to just increase my network. Cost savings, as we speak, will cost you to less investment in your maintenance side, less investment spending buying new equipment. Mobility, that has proven that within the pandemic, mobility is really important. Number four, security. And then you talk about not only security, but business continuity, a big part of that security industry. Because to be secure, you'll be able to go back to business when an incident happened. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is no secure service or a computer 100%. And we have seen there's a lot of hacks happen around the world, and there is a number of incidents happen around the world. Big organization with big security has been breached. So that only shows that you could do so much in providing security, especially when you're talking about cloud industry. But you really have to pay attention into business continuity as well. You have to pay a huge attention into retaining your information, not being leaked or being available for hackers or crackers around the world. So what are really the benefits that we have with the cloud service? What makes it popular beside the other one? Easily upgrades, lower cost, productivity anywhere, disaster assistance. If you're a country that's known to have a lot of typhoons or earthquakes or that, it makes sense that you host your data, you host your services somewhere else as a backup or as a main service of that. So when we're talking about cloud, there are a number of clouds, of course, and the three main ones is the public cloud, private cloud, and the hybrid between public and private. However, it's really up to the business where they choose. A lot of businesses who really have huge dependencies on their online system goes for the private one. Public cloud is mainly for a smaller kind of business, but they are moving also to the hybrid one, which is both scenarios to have. It really goes down to the business needs and business vision, and also how much they are willing to shell out. So the computing service we have, as I spoke, software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Now, the huge saving is going into infrastructure as a service. So you have this huge infrastructure ready to go up and down whenever you need it based on your business needs. For example, if you take rendering of a graphic designer, sometimes he needs a really strong hardware to really render all this graphic card power. But then his project is done. What the point of keeping the service? So he can downsize. Then when he have a bigger project again, he can upsize again. So that's really a huge cost saving for them. Platform as a service, some people want to host their platform on the cloud, and that's most people do now. However, software as a service, hosting your softwares into the cloud and getting your clients, instead of installing this expensive kind of software, priority softwares in a personal computer, and just have a limited number of people who can use it. Why not host it in the cloud, and then you can give login to whomever wants to log in to you to use that machine at that certain time, using the VMware, of course, and other associated technologies. Now, cloud computing threats and vulnerabilities are a lot. And as indicated earlier, one of the major challenges sometimes is facing this organization. Where is my data being hosted? Is it safe? Is it protected? Is the government can intervene and really look into my privileged or my secret data? As I said, this is one of the challenges. There are rules and regulation has been put in place to help and aid, facilitate better security for you and better peace of mind. Therefore, you include your own security, you include your own encryption, and so on. Mainly, we want to talk about the cloud problems is interception. People can intercept the data that communicated between the client and the cloud, and that could raise an issue. And they can solve it using secure VPN, secure connection, and so on. But also, interruption could be happening if where the cloud is being. I mean, we agree the cloud is basically a computer that's hosted somewhere else through the internet. What happens if that country has gone into war, or an earthquake happened to it out of the blue? So here, where the service provider that you are trying to seek is really important to research them before. See how many locations they have, where they will host your information, and will your information be safe. Modification as well is a big part of it. Your information will be modified. For example, let's take banking industry. If we assume that the banking industry use 100% cloud, I mean, not all of them use 100% cloud, just for some services. However, somebody managed to get into those systems, crack it, and happen that they get their information, their hands on information of the clients, or modify this information, add a couple of zeros or take a couple of zeros, fabricate those information as part of it as well. If you talk about the medical industry, since we are in the COVID era, people could sneak into those vaccination centers and write people off that are they vaccinated or non-vaccinated, so they had to go back and take their flu shots again, and so on, or operation. And we have seen with WannaCry hit a lot of major services around the world. And because their information only hosted within that computer, it's been taken as a hostage, and they had to pay a ransom in order for them to get the information back. But some security controls could be happening if your data is hosted in the cloud, and one of the system has been compromised, your backup from the other system can take over, and therefore it provided an active solution against some of those terrorizing applications like WannaCry virus or the ransomware application. So in summary, if we want to talk about cloud computing, yes, it's scalable, cost-effective, locked in encapsulated change management. You can have a lot of controls over it, reliability. If we talk about next generation application and architecture, we're talking about smart cities now. They want to go less carbon footprint, and they want to have clean energy. Therefore, they want to use less electricity. So they would integrate all this heavy machineries to be hosted somewhere else, what in the city is clean and nice and tidy, where they can use clean energy and less power consumption equipment like laptops, big servers, and so on. Cloud vulnerability incident in some statistics has shown that abuse of cloud service is there, insecure infrastructure and API, malicious insiders as well. Data loss, account hijacking, that's a major issue with cloud because you depend really on those credentials that you have, and your verification system, one-time password also is there to ensure that the client phone is really with him, and so on. So there are challenges and there are controls, but what we need is to find the perfect cloud service that could give you this as a package where you can really feel secure while using this information. And while using their services, your information is really secure, reliable, and I can get in there whenever I need it to them to get there. I know the time is really small slot, and the talking about this topic is huge. As I said, cloud has become the buzzword in the past decade, and it's just going to continue going there because we are going wireless, we're going mobile, and more and more people want to have that scalability, instant scalability in hand. Therefore, they really go through the cloud services and it becomes as a service. So that's just a quick highlight about the cloud and the different types as well, and why we need it, and what the future projection into the threats that comes to this systems. Thank you very much. I think, Bridget, I'm on time, I guess.
Yes, Dr. Haitham, you are definitely on time. In fact, you finished your presentation a little earlier, which we truly appreciate. However, the presentation was extremely impactful and insightful on cybersecurity in Agile cloud era. Very subjective, very factual, very informative, and I'm sure our dear participants who are watching us right now have taken a lot of keynotes from your presentation. So thank you so much once again for honoring us with your presence, Dr. Haitham.
Thank you very much for having me, and good luck on the rest of the presentation. And thank you for having me again. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye for now.